You know you're the man. With a fan going ham. Don't know who I am. Now they know who I am. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Night Rider fucking episode episode 4. That's right. For those that watched the episodes, that last episode was I don't know. If you followed me long enough, then you know that I'm the type of person that believes in curses and magic. I have never met that person that I took a ride with, and I'll just put it like this. That was the most uncomfortable car ride I have ever had in my life. Maybe not in my life, okay, but definitely the most uncomfortable car ride I have had in a couple years. And I've been doing Lyft and DoorDash, Postmates, other types of work for that kind of stuff, and that says something that was the most uncomfortable ride. So yeah, if you got to see that, I've thought a lot about taking it down, but honestly, oh my goodness, sorry, long ride home here. I've thought a lot about taking it down, but I feel like this podcast is you joining me in my life. So welcome to my life. Welcome to the people I meet, the experiences I have, the places I go, all that fucking good shit. And the bad shit too. See, when I used to listen to Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, one thing I used to love about the early podcast is that he would talk about a lot of stuff that was dramatic, stuff in his personal life, stuff in the comedy scene that I wasn't really connected to or didn't even really know about, but it made him real. It made him, it made it feel like you were in his life more on a friend level. And that's what I try to do for my listeners. I try to keep you on a very personal, somewhat friend level. This week has been real rough. My phone holder for my windshield came off, and for whatever reason, no matter how much saliva or water I put on it, won't go back to the windshield. So I need to get a new one. I'm holding this with my hand, if you couldn't tell by how shaky the camera is, and I'm trying to hold it still, so forgive me if it's not exactly I don't know, HQ high quality. Anyway, yeah, so things have been pretty good as far as my regular life goes. I mean, I'm eating good. I'm doing fine as far as stress levels. It's just, you know, life is hard for an average American, which is what I basically am, lower to middle class. And life is hard for us. People don't understand what it's like for not even just Americans, people of the world, but especially Americans, because we have a lot put on us. I know this sounds probably spoiled to some, but you have to walk a mile in my shoes to really get it. And what I mean by that is, I'm a believer that everybody has a hard life. Even the most spoiled, rich person has strife that they go through. Yes, it's not as much as a normal average American who isn't rich or well off, or any person in the world that's rich or well off, but they still go through some adversity. Now, they go through adversity and they handle it differently than we middle class people do, and that's what being a middle class hero is about, or a blue collar hero as they call it, is the way we endure life, the way we get through it, the way we take it and in every way that we can make it better. I think that's something that middle class men especially are very good at, and I think that's something we don't get enough credit for. In the hip-hop community, they talk about holding down your community, or holding down your set, or holding down your block. And basically what that means is you keep the peace where you're at. Whatever street you live on, you keep it peaceful. You make sure everybody's good. You know where to get stuff. You know where to get things that people need. on a regular basis. And for us middle class average Americans, we basically hold down our life and the people that come into it. And by doing that on our own level, we hold down the whole American economy. It may not seem like it, but a lot of our economy, a lot of the world's economy, relies on middle class blue collar men. Had it not been for a blue collar hero coming into existence and being replicated throughout our society through the traditions and the different stuff that an American goes through, you wouldn't have the economy in the world that we do now. Mostly I mean the American economy. People think that our economy is so great and so big and so sturdy because these people in Wall Street or these politicians make these deals and are just so smart with the way they handle finances. Not really. No, not really. All they're doing is playing the numbers game. You and I could do that. I'll tell you right now, go on the Play Store, download an RPG game, and handle resources, learn how to build units. You're handling Wall Street. Just pretend. You like Lord of the Rings? Get a Lord of the Ring RPG. You like Ninja? Get a Ninja RPG. You like zombie shooting style RPGs? Go and download one of those. Handle the resources, hold down your community, your base, and you know what it's like to be a Wall Street financier or some politician. Especially with a politician, because in those games there's stuff like diplomacy, you make allied factions. So a lot of us that live as a normal American, especially if you're a gamer or if you're someone that plays board games, like if you played perfect example, if you played Monopoly, you have been a Wall Street financier, just not an official Wall Street financier dealing with real money. That's all those people do. They just walk around and play the numbers game. They just move money around. It's like Cardi B says, I don't gotta dance, I make money move. That's what they've been doing their whole life. And yeah, I guess I'm a bit jealous, but going back to my point, the only reason those people get to move money around like that is because people that are in the streets, in the shops, in the offices, doing their regular everyday job. And I have to say, as someone who works in a shop normally, I have a real passion for machines. Even in my Postmates and Lyft jobs, I'm working with a machine by driving a car. But I think that's really what drives society. Figuratively and literally, that is what keeps the economy going. People doing hard work, doing normal everyday jobs. You know, that movie Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey and I think it's Morgan Freeman. Yeah, Morgan Freeman plays God. And the whole movie is about Jim Carrey going through a lot of strife, going through a lot of, like, his car breaks down, his wife, I guess his relationship was a bit lackluster, and then he gets to play God for a while. He gets all these powers, and he starts using it for selfish reasons, and he learns that the responsibilities that God handles are much greater than any normal human can. And in the end, Bruce Almighty, one of the things, the last thing that he gets to do as God is clean up a dirty room. He helps Morgan Freeman, who's playing the real God in the movie, he gets to help him mop up a floor. And after he's done mopping up the floor, Morgan Freeman says something like, some of the happiest people go home smelling to high heaven. And the point is that some of the people that go home that actually have to do physical labor or get their hands dirty are the happiest people when they go home, because we know that at the end of the day, what we're doing is good for society. It's good for what most of the general population wants. If you're a mechanic and you work on cars, I mean, your job is hard, it's tough, but it's gratifying in that I'm sure you can times take a seat back and say, well, now people can get to where they need to go to. They can visit their families, go to their jobs, and make money, all because I'm able to fix that car for however much a person charges. Even a person in an office, a paper pusher, as I like to call them. Some people look at that as a derogatory term. I don't. I think it's a nickname. I think people would call me a wrench monkey or whatever. I just, turn wrenches, make sure machines do things right, and then use those machines for very simple tasks that are done at a high rate of speed thanks to the machine, and at a high rate of efficiency as well. Anyway, people like us, and again, even the office workers, the paper pushers, we have a job that, no matter how you look at it, we know it does good stuff. We know it does the society some benefit. And that's something that I take pride in. It's easy to take pride in your job. Well, actually, I will take that back. I will take that far, far back. It's not easy to at times, but when you're a police officer, if you're a military member, a serviceman, and you do the types of things where you directly help the community, you have no doubts in your minds at times that you're doing great things for the community and the world at large. So, hats off to those people. Kudos, much credit. Thank you to our men and women in the force, both military and the police. Yes, there are some bad police officers and bad military members. I've made a lot of my life figuring and helping mostly the Twitter community, but also the Facebook community, figure out that those things do happen by, and I say those things, I mean events where people with power use their power in ways they should not have. Unfortunately, that happens, and now in American society, it's getting better and better. People are becoming more accountable for the things they do, both good and bad. But back to my point, we can all take pride in the things we do, not being someone who just moves money around. And truth be told, I think even people that move money around, businessmen, even these Wall Street brokers, they probably take pride in their job. I think you'd have to, for the most part, just to even do the job. And I'm sure coming from someone like me, it probably sounds like I'm hating, and I guess I am a little, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's good to have passion in something that is inarguably, in many ways, better for our society and humankind as a whole. And I would advise people, take a moment and, look at your life and decide what's good and what's bad. And really, if you sit down and you think about your life and you find out that there's more bad than good, maybe you should think about changing that. Whatever that is. Sometimes it's not even bad for society. Like maybe you have a great job changing oil at Jiffy Lube, or answering calls at a front desk somewhere, but you feel like you could be doing more good, or you feel like you could even just be doing more good for yourself. Maybe this is a challenge for you. Go out there and get it. I've had to do that. There was a job I had where I was happy with most of the people I worked with. The pay wasn't terribly awful, but definitely wasn't satisfactory. And I could have kept that job. I could have waited, I don't know, a couple years. Probably, I bet I could have got a supervisor position, which there they called it the lead. I probably could have got that job and made, I forget what they make, but I think it was at least $15 an hour, and been pretty happy with that. But I ended up taking a job that I took a chance on because it was an industry that I've been in before and didn't have the greatest experience in. We won't get into it really. It was more reasons than one, and I don't look back on that time negatively or with a sad face. So I think it was just something I had to go through, much like people that have to go through things in their life that are very hard and hate life and hate the people or the situation that they're put in or put with at times, but at the end they end up not hating it, and actually sometimes we end up loving it. Like Iggy Azalea says, first you started off hating, now you love my drip. Anyway, I took a chance and took this job that I have now primarily taking chances knowing that it has better opportunities. So I'm trying to say that if you can do something good with your life, go out there and do it. If you're already doing good things with your life, take pride in it. Even if you're meant to move on to better things, you should still take pride in what you're doing right now. I think that's a very important thing. In the Bible, they talk about pride being a sin, and pride can be a sin, but just like power, as we were talking about people that are given power earlier in the podcast, pride can be taken to a level where it becomes toxic. It can become an evil force that drives people to do things that isn't human. So don't let it get to that level, but take pride in what you got. Someone putting up a bumper sticker, that is a healthy source of pride right there. That's someone saying, I am a part of this, or I support whatever this certain sticker or logo has to represent, and I want it known so that it may put the message out there and maybe attract that same energy or people that believe in supporting that same message back. That's a healthy source of pride. So I would encourage that kind of pride. One thing I like to do is just boost up my coworkers and the people that I work with. I think we should get a little bit more of that in this American society. That's one thing I've always loved about rap and hip hop is they hype up stuff a lot. Like they'll say things that aren't even necessarily true just to make the song or maybe themselves sound cooler for the song or because it rhymes. And I mean, obviously it has to be taken with a grain of salt, and people that become lovers of hip hop or rap, or when people start to get interested in it, it's something that should be made known to them. But the point is I think it's cool to do that as long as once again, like I said, we're being clear about the level that we keep that at. It's all about knowing your level, stay in your lane. That's what it's about. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast here. I just really wanted to get another one out here, and thanks again for listening to the Night Rider podcast. Really enjoy this. I do have other podcasts, but for now, I'm just going to keep doing this. It gives a visual element, and it allows you to sort of be right here alongside with me, and we get to pick each other's brains. So leave a comment if you would, and let me know what your source of pride is, what job you have that you appreciate, and I don't know, maybe send a picture of a bumper sticker that you have or that you're planning to buy. That'd be pretty cool. For now, I'm Thomas Sutherland, Thomas Skywalker or TJ Kush, signing off, saying see you next time. Keep safe out there, by the way, everyone. Catch you later. You're the reason. But I think this right here happened overnight. Get it? Cause it happened overnight. Like they got it.